Hello, my friends. Welcome to day 6 of stepping out of unfit relationship patterns. So let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath that we are here now in this moment and what wants to come through. So what is pushing through, what is being given to this space is, give me a second. There's so many things that just all of a sudden came in that I gotta sort it out, be able to put it into words. So, unfit relationships. So I'm sure you've experienced before where you are after a conversation with your loved ones, and this is day 6, so this is building up. So I invite you to watch the first 5 days. So you are just having finished a conversation, a disagreement with your loved one, and you feel muted. You feel unheard. You feel like nothing really was resolved. You don't feel like you guys are on the same playground. You guys are on the same platform that you're talking on. You feel like, well, again, okay, and but at least they're happier. And just remember that, how much energy, life force is drained from you at that point, because you have allowed your light to be dimmed. And I know the mind can come and say, well, I didn't just allow, I wanted to keep the peace, and otherwise he's angry or she's angry, and it just, it's easier that way. And all these stories that we tell ourselves. And I know I've seen so many of us. I just had earlier somebody text me that more than likely by the end of the month, if they don't do this, then they're gonna face a physical violence. And my question is, why are you still there then? If you know it's gonna happen, look at what it is that is holding you still there. Look at what it is that tells you, I think it's gonna happen. Probably it will happen. It has happened before, but maybe I'll just be quiet. I'll just do what he wants. All these things that people do, people who have gotten themselves used to being in relationships that are not for their highest benefit. And this could be different. This could be where there is no physical abuse that happens. It could be, we all know by now, it could be emotional. It could be that gaslighting. So, what I am offering here, again, with these talks is that battlefield within you. That is that belief that you cannot step out for various reasons, for the kids, for the money, for the location, for what will family say, for you don't have anywhere to go, for all those. And I'm not being unsympathetic to this, because I've been in that. I've had those thoughts go over in my head for years. So I know that this is something that the mind does. This is something that when we are stuck in that belief that there is no other way, we don't see another way. We think, oh, it'd be nice, oh, but there's no other way. We keep on looping within ourselves. So this space where you believe that this is what's possible, what I'm introducing to you is to go deeper into a space within you where peace is available, where more information opens up, and the idea, the possibility that this doesn't have to be this way. And I realize that in that space, you need confidence. confidence that it will work, some kind of assurance that the mind wants to know that this will work, that if I take this step, something is going to catch me, something that I can rely on, something that's safe, because otherwise, what am I going to do? And you see, in that space within you, that space of peace, I'm going to write it. So there is, see, this is where you're in the battlefield. This is your whole belief of yourself. This is your life. And since it's a 2D surface, I can't draw it differently other than deeper within you, a much bigger place where peace is. Yes, peace. Regardless how, not regard, I mean, I don't want to disregard the battlefield, the pain. And there is a space within each and every one of us that holds peace, that holds rest. Now, to operate out of this place, it's a location, okay? It's if we were to see the grid of the universe, this would be a location on a grid. Let's say longitude, 27 and latitude 34. And it is, because it's within you, it's going to be a different location for every single person. But within you, this exists. Period. It exists. So for you to be able to operate in that space, faith needs to come in there, because it is out of faith that you are confident that you can take the next step, whether you see or you don't see what the step after that will be. It is opening up to a new belief, shifting that space of belief where you are, the battlefield belief, opening up to a new belief that at this point it's only faith, right? Because you haven't seen it happen. You know it happens to others, you've heard it, but for you it might be a lot more difficult. So in that space, there's faith that's required, that then fills you with confidence, so that you can take the step, even if you don't know exactly where your foot will land. But at least you know that it is a way or out of the unfit relationship patterns. Now, this may or may not mean that you physically step out of a relationship, because some of the relationships you can't. Like your parents, your children, even if you don't see them for the rest of your life, they're still, your children are your children, your parents are your parents. And your intimate relationship, even if you leave, it is still some form of relationship. It just shifts. People's ex-husbands, ex-wives, whatnot, even if they don't see them anymore, there's a reference. There is an ex-husband, an ex-somebody. So you never fully diminish a relationship. You simply change it. So to come to this point of having the faith, of having the confidence, of taking a different step, and once you take a different step, you start to speak differently. When you are in this space of peace, you start to behave differently. You start to see the world differently. So then you create your life differently. And then the atmosphere around you starts to create you differently. It becomes easeful because you're constantly stepping and acting in that space of peace. And you can say, how can I be peaceful when so-and-so did this and that? I get it. I have things, being peaceful irritates a lot of other people. I do experience people being very angry with me, people who don't know me, simply because I stay peaceful. And and if I were to get pulled into their anger, well, where would that go? Really, where would that go? And it is because I have resided in this internal place of peace long enough now where I can look at those situations and have compassion for people who hurt so much that they're willing to yell at a complete stranger who is actually helping them out. But let me tell you, I don't take home the pain. So living your life from that place of peace, and I'm not saying that you're not going to feel emotions and then get angry momentarily. What I am saying is that you come back to that location within you and you orchestrate, you live your life from this space of peace within you. And now tying in to what I have also been talking about in the first 5 videos is we call that space God. We call that space Christ, non-religious. If you're watching my videos by now, probably you're getting bored of this, that I keep saying that. And I say that because if you come to this video for the first time, it is important that you know that, because you may be one of those people who came here thinking that this is going to be only about your relationships, and then you're all of a sudden hit with those names and you have religious trauma. You have religious trauma that maybe isn't even from this lifetime, but it hits you in a way. Because I used to be one of those. I know a lot of people who are those. That is a real thing. That is something that's coming up to be addressed. That is something that's coming up to be addressed, that I don't want to be discriminated against because of what I speak, because of what I experience. I am sharing an experience with you. I am sharing something with you that has helped me in my life tremendously and helped me in ways that I would have never even known or thought of. And that was without going to church, without consistently reading the Bible, without listening to sermons. That is the information that comes with this new consciousness that is happening upon humanity. Living from and in your internal place of the truth of life that you are, and recognizing that everything you are has been given, has been forgiven, is loved limitlessly. And that has been shown in the body of Christ. When you reside in that internal space, you'll start to create your own relationship that will be unique to you, and it will be guided by the truth, the universal truth, the truth of God, without translations of religions, without fears and ideas of man-made dogma, without what somebody else says. This is something that you cultivate within yourself. I am simply sharing a road to how to get there. And when you're there, it is your own place. In that space, living in that space, and from that space, my relationships have shifted. I can guarantee your relationships will shift. It's just simply, you cannot not shift. When you're in that space, you're resonating at a higher resonance. You are embraced in love. You have compassion for people. You see things for what they are. You don't get pulled into victim ideas. You start to see when others are in pain, and instead of trying to fight them off, you embrace them. You say, hey, I am on your side. How can we resolve this? And just that, just when you embrace somebody with understanding, it can shift things immediately, and you can come to a better solution. I think this is good for today. I'd like to keep these videos bite-sized because they do build up to a bigger picture. So when they're short like this, it's easier to consume them. Tomorrow I will come and perhaps tell you one of the miracles that happened that I've experienced, because also this is the space of miracles. When you relax back into the internal space of truth, of peace, of limitless love, of joy, of curiosity, of excitement for life, when you walk in that internal plane, when you walk in the confidence, in the faith, that you know things are working out for your highest benefit, even if things don't seem that way right now, but there are gifts in it. You may find out a day later or whatever time later. Then you walk with that confidence. Those doubts kind of dissipate. You become stronger just simply because this is the nature of that reality, of that internal space, of the truth, of the way of living your life in and through unconditional love. Thank you, my friends. I am out for today. I welcome your questions, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.